In this tutorial, we are going no-sew. I'm going to share a project with you that is going to use up your fabric scraps, and you're not going to have to turn on your sewing machine. So here is the backstory. I wanted to make a matching game or memory game, whatever you want to call it, for my great nephew who is turning 3, but I didn't want it to take all day. I'd seen some really cute ideas on Pinterest, but it looked like 36 mini quilts. I don't have the time to do that before I'm getting on the plane. And I just wanted something quicker. So I'm going to show you how to do this with 3 materials. Stiff felt, not the floppy kind, but kind of the stiff kind. Fabric scraps and Heat and Bond Ultra. This is so easy to put together. So one of the big questions I had when I started this, and you may have too, is how many should you make? And there's no, rule. You can make as many as you want because you are making them. Here are some general rules. For toddlers, you usually see 6 to 8 pairs because they're just building their memory. So if you do something that's too overwhelming and has too many matches, they're not going to be successful. So this has 18 pairs, 36 different designs. So what I would do is I would just go through and I would pick 6 to 8 matches and just lay them out and play. But if you like to do this as a family and maybe everyone's a little bit older, then you could do up to 20 to 25 pairs, which would mean making 40 to 50 pieces. That's also why doing this no-sew way is going to be a lot easier. A very common size are the 10 to 18 pairs, this being the 18 pairs. Now, in addition to this being a great memory builder and attention builder for young kids as their brains are developing, this is a great way to use up all those scraps. Just grab some felt. I think I made this set for under $10. And then if you want the written tutorial where I have everything laid out, pictures, how to make your matches if you're using something really icon driven, etc. I also included a simple, you do have to sew this, a simple drawstring bag that has French seams, so there are no raw edges in there. This is from one piece of fabric, very quick and easy. This could be your first sewing project ever, and it fits 36 of these pieces. Now, if you want to make a set that has more, you would use a wider piece of fabric, but that is all detailed in the written tutorial in my Etsy shop. Let's talk about the felt. This is what is going to make this an easy no-sew project. Now, I got stiff felt. You can see it's stiffer than this. So I didn't want to use the floppy because I want it to feel more like cards when we're doing this and flipping it over and not so loosey-goosey. And I just want it to be felt and fabric. I don't want a bunch of layers. I want to keep this simple. So this is 12 by 18. And the reason I'm telling you to make 3 by 3 squares is because we can get perfect number. So out of this piece, we can get 24 squares. If you got a 9 by 12, you can get 12. So if you're going to make the bigger set, which is 18 pairs or 36 squares, you buy one 12 by 18 and one 9 by 12, you'll have exactly what you need. They didn't have this in the smaller size, so I just bought 2. I'll have extra. So I've already cut out 24. So I just need 12 more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this in half and make myself a 9 by 12 sheet. So now I have this big piece to do something else with at some future date. So now we're going to cut this one. We're going to cut through 3 3-inch columns, and then we're going to turn them, and we're going to cut into 3 by 3 squares. Felt's a little harder on your rotary blade, so you either want to start with a new one, or once you're done with this project, you probably want to change your blade because this will dull it down a little bit more than just cutting cotton fabric. And just to save time, I'm going to pile these up and see how we do cutting all 3 layers at once. Now, one thing I do like to do, like I could just measure 3, move 3, move 3, like I just did, or you can do this. So this ruler is 6.5 inches wide. So I'm going to measure to the 6 inches, cut, and then I just need to slide over and cut at that 3-inch mark. It just makes for one less time of having to move my ruler and line it up on my felt or my fabric. Do you have any other cutting tips and habits and tricks that you do? Let me know in the comments. I'm sure we would all love to learn from each other. Now I want to show you how I make my matching sets, especially when I'm using something very icon driven. So like this is a print, little footprints. And while I did make them pretty much match, Because there's not another set, it's just going to be like, oh, footprints on brown, they match. You don't have to make sure like, oh, the bear print's there, whatever, whatever. Maybe for older kids, you could do that, but we're keeping it simple for the 3-year-old. But now I want to do a set with this chicken and the eggs. So what I'm doing is I have a 2.5-inch square and I'm putting it there. Now, if you don't have a 2.5-inch square, you just have a more regular ruler, you're just going to look at where that 2.5 inches is. If you want to make it easier to see, you can grab your painter's tape again and you can tape it off. I'm going to tape a 2.5-inch target on this bigger ruler. So then just beyond 6.5, I don't do it right on the line because I want to make sure I can really see what the exact 2.5 inches is. And then 1, 2.5. So you can use a ruler like this. That's, when you're lucky, the perfect size that you need, or you can make a window. And so now I can move this around and I can see what is going to be in that section. So I'd rather cut off the eggs than the chicken. So I'm going to go like that, and I'm going to cut here. Then I'm just going to keep turning it and keep putting it where I want it. So making sure, okay, I got about the same distance between his head and his feet. So there's our second side. Now we're lining up the 2 that we just cut to get our 3rd and 4th side. And this is why I don't put the tape right on the line. I should actually move it back a little bit more. I'm having a hard time seeing this part, but that way I can see. So now I have a great 2.5-inch square, but how do I get this one to be pretty much exactly the same? Now, if it's off a little, he's 3. It's not going to be like, ooh, I can see a little more eggs, so they don't match. No. So what I do is I put it on top. And if things line up, you're basically just going to make these eggs line up because we didn't get the whole thing. And then you can kind of fold it back, make sure the tail feathers are about the same place. And then I just cut right around the edge of this square that we already did. Kind of hard for you to see on the video, I think. But I'm basically leaving it. You can see it's kind of a little bit darker because it's got 2 on there. And you can use either ruler. I think it's a little bit easier to see without the tape when you're doing this second matching square. But that all just depends how many rulers you got hanging out and in your space. All right, so from those 2 pieces of fabric, we have 2 matching chickens, and then I have some other chickens. So we're going to get the ironing board back and we're going to make these. Now, one thing to note, these are all 2.5 inches. These are 3 inches. If these end up being a little bit off, either because of how you cut it originally or having to trim a little bit extra, if your heat and bond doesn't go, it's fine because this isn't the part that has to be the same. Your felt has to be the same size so that there's no way to know what's under it. So don't stress if you have to trim a teeny bit. So to make this a quicker no-sew project, I am using Heat and Bond Ultra Hold. You don't have to sew it. It is adhesive on both sides. We're going to be bonding the fabric to the felt with the Heat and Bond. So from this 17-inch by 1 yard, you would be able to make 2 sets of 36 squares, which is 18 pairs. Some people do less. That is pretty common. And I've played around a few different ways because I didn't want to cut 36 squares and have to iron 36 squares, 36 times is what it felt like. So this is the most efficient way to do it. I'm going to open the Heat and Bond and you are going to cut 3 5-inch strips. And then this was the center, so you can see we would be able to make a whole second set from this package of Heat and Bond that I think was about $4, maybe a little bit less. So this is a great way to use your fabric scraps and also an inexpensive project to make. So now that we have our 3 strips of 5 inches, I'm not going to layer them and cut them together because they're kind of folded. I want to make sure each of them is as close to 5 inches by 5 inches as possible. Because what we're going to do is we are going to put 4 squares. So we're going to iron 4 squares at a time, and then we're going to trim them and trim off any extra. But this is a lot faster than cutting 36 2.5-inch squares and then having to iron each on individually. All right, so I have my 9 5x5s. Now I'm going to get my ironing board. So you want your iron, read your directions, set to medium heat, no steam. And then I have all my little squares. So I'm going to put it upside down, and I'm going to put this on top. Now, it could be that my heat and bond is slightly bigger, and we don't want to bond it onto here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a piece of fabric. Okay, so this is just a scrap fabric from out of my trash, actually. And I'm going to put this down so that if the heat and bond hits beyond these squares, it'll be on this scrap fabric and not my ironing board. So now we're just going to press, no steam, medium heat, 2 seconds. Ooh, that's hot. Now you'll see it shifted a little bit. So I'm still going to have to trim that because we don't want any adhesive on the top of our squares. So the other way to do it with these 5x5 pieces is you would take 4 of these and put them upside down and make sure they're butted up against each other. Make sure there's no threads like that. So right close together. And then you're going to put this shiny side down right on top. And then I'm going to press this on all 4 at the same time. I had a little bit of adhesive on the edge. I forgot to put this under it. Whoops. But if you catch it quickly, you can kind of roll it off because it's still warm. So let's move the ironing board, and I'm going to show you how we're going to cut this apart. I'm just going to cut in between, and these stayed nice and butted up. There's a little bit of heat and bond showing in the center there. Let's get these edges off first. Be sure to leave me a comment. I would love to know who you think you'll do this for. Is this just something fun that your family would like to do as you're traveling or just looking for something to do that doesn't involve screens? Do you have toddlers in your life? Do you have older people? Do you want to just keep your own memory sharp? Let me know. I am very curious. So this one, I'm going to have to cut 2 sides. So I think it's actually a little bit easier to do the 4x4 and then cut them apart than having to trim all these individual ones. I didn't even trim it right. But I don't know. Either way will work. Let me know in the comments which you think you're going to try. So then we're just going to continue this process until we have the heat and bond on the back of all 36 squares. If you do different colors, it's easier to confirm that you have them nice and butted up against each other. After turning off the camera and ironing a few more of these, the singles or the 4 at a time, I have decided I like the 4 at a time better, and I'll show you why. You have a little more control when you put your iron down. So if you're just doing one, you have to make sure it doesn't move because you're going to go straight down on that one square. But when you have the 4, you can get this lined up, check all your edges, and you can be holding it in place over here while you start up here. I feel like you have better control of where the heat and bond stays in relation to the fabric. So now we have our 4 square. I'll just trim that apart, trim off any extra. And back here, like this is a little big, so I'll probably trim that off, and it's not going to matter because, again, it's the felt that matters. And you get a lot of little fuzz doing this project, so make sure you clean your mat at the end. Either go over it with a baby wipe or a lint brush. So once these are all done, you're going to peel the paper backing off of the heat and bond. So you can see it's shiny, that's the adhesive. So now I have a lot of paper to peel off, and I'm going to do that while I watch TV, and then I will come back and finish this tutorial. You're just going to grab your felt, center these on the felt, and this time, same heat, but you're going to press for 8 to 10 seconds. And one thing I love about this size is you can fit the whole thing under a traditional iron. So you don't want to move it around, you want it to stay in one place. But you can get the whole thing pressed. You don't have to do it in sections. Look how easy that is. So I'm using up a bunch of scraps. I'm going to help my great or grandnephew once I decide. Connor, we're going to help Connor with his matching. And this is also a great kind of quiet game. If kids are getting a little too rowdy, calm them down. Do this before story time at night. Lots of ways to use these. It's also good for people with dementia or to help yourself stay sharp, because unlike crossword puzzles, which a lot of people think are really good to stave off dementia, that calls on long-term memory. So like you're having to remember words and things that you've learned over time. But what usually goes first when you're getting dementia is your short-term memory. And if anything is short-term memory, it is this game, right? I have to remember exactly what I saw aware very, very recently. And having unfortunately 2 parents pass away from dementia, I'm doing any little activity that I can that might help. Okay, so what do you think? Does this look nice and easy? I think this could even be something that you could sew and sell. And this is a great activity to do really at any age. I always think about them for younger kids because we're teaching them to match and do things like that. But it could be super fun to just throw in your purse, have it on the road, or if you're traveling with friends and family, just have something really easy and quiet to whip out and play with. Also fun to do with seniors at an assisted living, or, sometimes where you're somewhere and you're like, okay, I want to be here, but what are we going to do? What are we going to focus on? Bring your matching set. I would love to know who you're going to make them for, if you're going to make them to sew and sell, or what other ideas you have. I hope you have enjoyed this tutorial. Be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and happy sewing, or in this case, happy no sewing and getting rid of some of your fabric scraps.